Hello, and welcome to Offscript, the show that answers questions about topics you haven't been able to hear about, all from the heart. I'm Riley, your host, and on today's episode, we will talk about the misinformation spread about transgender people in the media. In the episode, I will interview a transgender musician about their thoughts and opinions, as well as experiences with what the media says on people like her. So without further ado, let's get into it. Hello, I'm here with my friend Suki.
I
So, tell us a little bit about yourself. What kind of music do you make?
I make a few genres. I make drum and bass, I make jungle, I make breakcore, I make hardcore, all of that. Trance, just various EDM.
And how long have you been trans for?
I've been uh, that's a that's a question with a lot of layers. I've been trans for as long as I can remember, but I never really realized it up until roughly like 3 years ago.
So let's start with the questions here. What is
Uh-huh.
something that you've seen in the media about transgender people that has bothered you?
I mean, obviously, seeing how certain states in the US are banning transgender care obviously upsets me. Luckily, I'm in one of the states where they're super nice about it and they're very lenient with it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Uh, there was also this one news story going around probably like a year to 2 years ago about this teacher who identified as trans and they got like ginormous implants.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I saw a bunch of people try to frame every single one of us as having that mentality, and I feel like that kind of upset me because obviously that's like a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Um, Most of us just like want to live a normal life. Um, but yeah,
Hmm.
those are two things that kind of upset me, I guess.
Yeah, and it sucks that that people they don't let people live normal lives just because of something that one person does. It's kind of
Yeah,
screwed up.
I mean, live and let live. Just
Hmm.
like if you don't like it, look the other way, I guess. It's not really harming anybody, I don't think.
All
I've
right.
never physically hurt somebody because of me being trans. I don't think so.
Do you think that the media has a negative effect on trans people?
I feel like a lot of it does. I feel like a lot of it might not. Um, but I feel like a lot of media is just harmful in general, regardless of transgender or not. Um, I feel like it's really easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of like all the things that are happening and you just like read it over and over again and it just like gets blown way out of proportion and
Yeah.
it's hard to gauge like how much is actually happening. So I think it's less of a transgender question. Like of course it applies to trans people, but I feel like it also applies to just about anything.
Hmm.
Like it's really um the media is just kind of negative in
Yeah.
general because it's what gets attention.
The brain rot can really start affecting people.
Yeah.
All right. What is your opinion on political parties' views of transgender people?
Um I think uh, in America there are two dominant parties, so it's kind of like the Republicans are like very anti-trans. They're very open about hating trans people. One of the um, people running for president, uh, I think it was Trump actually. He was talking about how if he got into office, he would propose a nationwide ban
Oh yeah.
on all hormone supplements.
I remember reading
Um,
about that.
yeah, I mean, he's probably full of it, but you know, anything to get the votes.
Hmm.
But yeah, I feel like both parties kind of suck a little bit because two-party system isn't the best, but I'm gonna try to be not that political.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I feel like the Democratic Party in America is a bit more like positive towards us. They're a bit more inclusive, but I don't really like how either of them stand on the matter.
Mm-hmm. Joe Biden forgets to do a lot of things anyway, so maybe he wants to help and just doesn't know how because he keeps
Yeah, it
forgetting
slipped
how to
his
do it.
mind.
All right. What do you think the media slash political parties can slash should do to help and support transgender people better?
I mean, obviously it's like kind of utopian, but like if everyone kind of just like I I don't know. This is probably controversial, but I feel like it would be cool if everyone kind of just like stopped talking about it so much. Like I feel like it's such a non-issue,
Mm-hmm.
you know. It's weird.
Yeah, like I can
Like
see that.
I don't know why I always feel like I have the spotlight on me like all the time.
Yeah.
Like I just like I said, I just want to live.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care too much. Like it's none of my business whether other people decide to do whatever with their body. Why should it be theirs if I want to do what I want with my body, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of like what you
Um
said at the beginning too with the teacher, with that example. Like the spotlight
yeah,
was all on her, and then the second something that she does, people don't see right, it affects everybody as well. If that
I
spotlight
mean,
wasn't fully on her, then
yeah, that situation's a little different because like, she was a
mm,
teacher and getting like 2-ton bahangas as a
mm-hmm.
teacher probably
Probably
uh
not the best idea for a school
yeah.
environment.
That's not very school inclusive, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, it just doesn't seem like it would go well in a school environment, but yeah, that's a topic for another day.
All right.
But another thing the media could do is put more attention on passing bills that support medicine, like kind of as some sort of a pushback. Because like if people were to DM their, or not DM, like email their uh, local like lawmakers and whatnot, then I feel like it would be a lot smoother because they'd like actually know what people care about instead of getting caught up in the media whirlwind.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Okay. What do you think is the biggest lie you've heard about transgender people?
there are a lot of those, like a lot. One of them is that we're all like grooming people into being trans. That's like
Mm-hmm.
mega conspiracy levels of lying. It's like I feel like I mean, I don't want to say it doesn't happen because I'm sure it's happened at least like once, but
Yeah.
trying to force it on the entire community is like kind of eh.
It's a shitty thing to do.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Mm-hmm.
But like people say that, oh, we're grooming everyone, we're grooming the children, and that it's like all about the children. The children argument is a very big thing because they think we're taking away like the purity of children by transitioning somehow. Like they think we're just grooming everybody. Another one is that we're all like fetishists, and that it's like a whole like gross thing, but
Yeah.
it's just not. Another one is being trans is a phase. I've heard that a lot, but in a few cases it is, because people just like, I mean, like with the media, they just get caught up in the whole
Mm-hmm.
whirlwind of that shit.
And they
Oh,
start to
sorry.
question because of what people like, other people's experiences, how they might have realized, or they might have
Yeah.
started to act on it more. They see
Mhm.
that and they think, well, I'm sort of like that. Maybe I am, and they start trying it
Yeah,
out, and then
and they
after
start
that,
trying it
they
and they
realize,
realize that it's not for them. But like
yeah.
I know a lot of trans people, like I just talk to a lot of people, and
Mm-hmm.
because of the communities I'm in, I know a lot of trans people. And if I had to guess, I would put it around like 80 probably. I know 80 trans people and I've like talked to them on a decent enough basis.
Yeah.
And only one of those 80 have detransitioned, which aligns with the statistics pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like obviously people do detransition because it's just not for them. but it's a very, very small portion. Like, I think roughly 1% of all people are trans in the United States, and roughly 1% of that margin is like detransitions. So that's like 1 out of every 10,000 people ends up detransitioning.
Yeah.
Um,
Very,
but
very
yeah.
small amount in an
Yeah,
already
it's
small group.
really, yeah. That's not to say it's not like, that's not to invalidate it. Like, that's not, it's just like, as with everything else, it just gets blown out of proportion and people think it's a bigger issue than it really is, you know?
That was the end of our interview. We talked about things like how the media has handled trans people's decisions, spread blame for some things that has only really happened once, and the lies that came out of the blue with their only intention to spread more hate. Now, if you weren't paying attention to that, then don't worry. You were probably paying attention to the songs that was playing while we talked. Those were made by Suki herself. You can check them out, as well as any other things that she's made by visiting the links in the description below. You can also stay tuned for an up-and-coming collab album that her and another artist are making. With all that's been talked about in this episode, I think the main takeaway you can get from all of this is to treat people like people, regardless of what's going on. Thank you for listening.